Very good morning, dear students. Welcome to e-learning classes of Sacred Hearts of the subject economics. Dear students, in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the cross price effect, or we can say how the prices of the related goods used to affect the demand for a particular commodity. We have discussed that the related goods are of two types: complementary goods and substitute goods, and we have discussed the relationship between the price of the substitute goods and the demand for a particular commodity. So as soon as the prices of the substitute good will increases, the demand for the commodity will also increases, indicating the positive relation. And in the context of the complementary good, as soon as the prices of the complementary goods will increases, the demand for the commodity decreases, and the vice versa, indicating the inverse relation between the demand for a commodity and prices of the complementary goods. Dear students, today we are going to discuss about the change in taste and preferences and income of the consumer and its effect on the demand, and along with this our chapter will be winded up. So let's get started. Initially, the relationship between income and demand. So dear students, if we talk about the types of goods as per the income or the classification of goods on the basis of income, then there are two types of goods: the normal goods and the inferior goods. The normal goods are the goods for which demand increases if the income increase. There is always a positive relation between income and demand for the normal goods. And now let us see how demand curve of a normal good changes when the income changes. So very first condition, increase in income. So as soon as the income of the consumer increases, the demand for the normal good will also increases. As a result, there will be a forward shift in the demand curve. As we see in the diagram, there is an initial demand curve D1, and as soon as the income of the consumer increases, the demand curve shifted forward and become the new demand curve, that is a D2. And the second condition, decrease in income, there will be just vice versa effect. In comparison to the increase in income, there will be decrease in demand, and the demand curve will shift backward to the D3. Now, the second type of goods, that is the inferior goods. Dear students, inferior goods are the goods demand for which decreases if the income increase and vice versa. Now just see how demand curve of an inferior good changes when income of the buyer changes. So the very first context is the increase in income. As soon as the consumer's income will increase, now the consumer is having the purchasing power to afford the normal goods, and as a result the demand for the inferior good will decreases, and the demand curve will shift backward to the backward. Thereafter it will become the D3. And the second case, decrease in income. So as soon as the consumer's income will decrease, again his or her purchasing power has decreased, which will compel the particular consumer to purchase more of the inferior good, and as a result the demand curve will shift forward, that will become D2. Now the next topic and the last topic of the chapter, that is the impact of taste and preferences on demand for a commodity. What will be the impact of taste and preferences on the demand of a particular commodity? Then dear students, if we talk about what are the different determinants of taste and preferences, then there are three determinants. What are these? The very first is the individual's likes and dislikes. If we like a particular commodity, there will be higher demand. If we don't like any particular commodity or the service, then we will not demand it. Second, trends and fashions. Everyone wants to be trendy, everyone wants to be in the fashion, and as a result, whatever the emerging trends and fashions are there, its demand used to increase, and the goods for which the demand or the fashion have been decreased or unfavorable, their demand used to decrease. And the last one is the climatic condition. Many of the time the human being have to do the preferences as per the climatic conditions. So the climatic conditions in the favor of which commodity move, the demand will increase, and the vice versa. For example, in the summers the demand for cotton clothes used to increase, and in the winters the demand for the woolen clothes used to increase. Now, just see the favorable and unfavorable changes in the taste and preferences. When there will be the favorable changes in the taste and preferences, the demand for the commodity increases even at the same prices. As we can see, the D1 is the initial demand curve, and as soon as there is a favorable change in the taste and preferences, the demand curve shifted forward. We can see it as the D2 forward shift in demand curve, and as soon as there will be unfavorable changes, the demand will decrease even at the existing price, and the demand curve will shift backward, that is the D3. So this is all about today as well as about the chapter. God bless you all. Lots of love.